Oh my gosh, the lighting. LA has been so dreary. It's a mess. It's like been so dark here. That's it. That's all I got for you. How are you guys? How are you doing, Star family? Thank you so much for being here. How are you? Miss Gigi88 said, I hadn't heard about this and I won't Google it. I'll come in blind. Yeah, don't Google it. Don't Google it. LS said, you will be playing in the background while I'm on this work-related call. I know that's right. I know that's right. Hey, Greta. Hey, Miss Mary Mac TV. Yeah, me too. Me too. This is a sad story. Very, very sad. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Joy Courtney. Joy Courtney said, the Bravos and Cocktails page had a blind item about this a couple of days ago. Wow. They're normally never on it, but think the tides are turning. Joy said, anyway, happy hump day, Star family. Happy hump day. Simply Simone said, girl, this was not the news I expected to read during election night. Oh, ciao. Hey, she got 2 kids, D. Thank you so much, Tracy. Tracy said, Star family, please like, comment, subscribe, and share because you're here, and hit that notification button. It is so freaking dark in here. Hold on, let me try one more light. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's just too dark. Like, what's the tea? What's the tea, Buster Brown? Baby, I am absolutely bringing back my lighting system. Ciao. All right, I hope this works. Did it do something? It did something. It did something. Hey, Missy. Missy said, bonjour. I know that's right, Star fam. Hope you all are having a great day. Having a good day. Thank you, Missy. Hey, So Steph. It's actually not tea. It's just, heartbreak. Accusations, and heartbreak. The Dare Show podcast says, second to last episode, Robin's wearing a shirt that says classy with a side of hood. Hey, Miss T. Hey, is it Rain? Hey, Rain or Ryan. How are you? Hey, Bombshell Blur. Shout out to the mods. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Decay's upset. Finally caught alive. Hey, everyone. How are you? Hey, Pepe. How are you? Hey, it's Latasha. Hello. I'm not having the best day, so this live is much needed and welcome. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Latasha. Pray your day turns around for you. Hey, Dr. M. Hey, Connor. What's up, Tia Bia? Hey, Dr. M. So are we ready for the Black Panther premiere? Yes, I am. I'm actually going twice on Friday. Twice on Friday. The reason why I'm going twice is because I have like several, different set of friends group, and everybody wants to see it with me. I'm so popular, but also because I know the first time I see it, I'm going to be an emotional wreck and I'm going to be crying. The second time, I'll actually be able to take the movie in
But I watched the trailer and I was bawling. So I know I'm going to cry watching the movie. So I want to see it again so I could take it all in. Hey, Sly Cat. Hey, I am Rachel said this is the original background right there. Yeah, the OG. The OG. Hey, it's UV. Hey, TT. Hey, Tamika. Hey, Alicia. How are you? Hey, Irene. Yeah, don't Google this. I'll tell you everything that you need to know. And yeah, free yourself from this. Hey, Tamiria. Hey, pretty kitty. Vote Virgo said, hi, dear. I saw you on Instagram, baby. Now let's get into this. What's going on? Robin is actually my fave. So sorry. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with her. I mean, I do not want her to be blamed for anything concerning this. This is just awful. Hey, Abina. Abina said, finally made it to Alive, but I'm not studying because I'm done with nursing school. All right. Congrats. Congrats. Hey, Dolce Delicious. Hey, Miss Gigi88 said this meeting was supposed to be done at 3 p.m. and it's still going. Headphones in, and I'm with the Star family. I know that's right. Drewski said, okay, back down. That video was live, girl. Hey, shoot, I cleaned up. Why do every time I clean up, I misplace my clicker? Hey, Tracy, cha-ching. Thank you so much for the super chat. Tracy said, before we start, shout out to the Star family's Alabaster King, Chris Evans, the sexiest man of life. Please like and comment. It's about damn time. It's about, like, when they released it, I was just like, this should have happened in like 2018. That they should have did that when he showed up in one of the Marvel movies with the beard. Remember that? That's when Black women were like, who is this? Who is this? Thank you, Tracy. But it's beyond time. He should have been had that. Hey, Desiree. Miss T said, Bravo has a scary talent at finding problematic people for their shows. I think they just don't do the proper background checks. And I think, to be honest with you, if you want a successful reality TV show, you just can't do that. You just can't look into everything, because stuff that you find out and that happens on camera is good for TV, unfortunately. It's like Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm trying. Dr. Rim said I had a meeting with my family about the do's and don'ts about Black Panther 2. Well, everybody's going to be an emotional wreck. Let them cry. Missy said, I skipped Kim Pyre's video when I saw that you were going to talk about it. I have no idea what's going on. Definitely still going to watch Kim Pyre's video. Yeah, go watch it. I watched his first and he was just uncomfortable. And this is the thing, I had created this live before, like I had set it up and everything before I watched Kim Pyre's video. And then I watched his video and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. But it's too late. I can't cancel this live. I did not think it was going to be this. I'm going to tell you that right now. I did no research. You guys had just sent me the article, but it was like pictures of it. And I didn't really look in. I didn't like really read it. And I was like, oh, this is about the Real Housewives of Potomac. We got to talk about it, right? When I watched Kim Pyre's video, I was like, yikes. This is tough. This is very tough. Since we're talking about it, let's get into it. I am reading from the original source that broke the news, and that is from the Baltimore Brew. Give me a second. We're going to go through the entire thing. Let me bring this up so you guys can kind of see a bit of it. Took a screenshot, just like a bit of it, but it's not the whole thing. But something there. Baltimore Brew. It says former player sues Copen State, where Juan works as a coach, over alleged sexual assault and blackmail by an assistant coach. A lurid scheme of sexual harassment and extortion played out under the nose of Copen's celebrated head basketball coach. A lawsuit says Copen State University assistant basketball coach catfished a player online into providing intimate photos and texts, then blackmailed him into videotaping the sexual encounter before publicizing the material when the player resisted further demands for sex. A lawsuit filed in Baltimore City Circuit court alleges. The legal complaint says, by information and belief, Lucian Brownlee, a former guard who served as director of player development and director of basketball operations, harassed, tormented, and sexually assaulted the player, Mr. Williams, before publishing intimate materials he had obtained from the student. Copen basketball coach Juan Dixon, who was named in the complaint, allegedly failed to take action when informed of Brownlee's action. A legendary figure in Baltimore and beyond, Dixon is a former University of Maryland standout and NBA player who Copen hired in the spring of 2017. Also named in the lawsuit filed last week is Copen State University, who officials, rather than supporting the distraught Williams, allegedly questioned him harshly and retaliated against him by withdrawing previously promised financial assistance. The way he was treated was abhorrent, said Williams' attorney, Daniel Diney Epstein of the New Jersey law firm, Epstein Ostrov, in a phone interview. Epstein said they were able to build their case despite the anonymous blackmailer purporting to be a third party. Our strong belief is that Lucian was a catfisher, Epstein said. Even if Brownlee was just a fellow victim of an anonymous tormentor, the minute he became a coach, he had an obligation to report any sexual harassment, Epstein said. And Dixon, having prior knowledge of the issues with Brownlee, according to the complaint, should never have placed him in a position of authority over players, Epstein added. The coach should have known better than to put this person in a position of seniority. The Brew was not able to reach Brownlee. Dixon did not respond to a phone message and an email requesting comments about the matter, nor did the school's athletic director, Derek Carter. Copen State University spokesperson Robin McCullough responded to an email by saying, Copen State University does not comment on pending litigation. Copen, an HBCU in the Maryland State University system, is known as Morgan State crosstown rival. Like many Division NCAA programs, it operates on a shoestring budget, working its players hard. In the fall of 2021, or shortly after the events in the lawsuit occurred, Sports Illustrated featured the team in a story about its arduous road schedule, which it called a sadistic slate of $80,000 guaranteed games. It's a challenge for the team leaders. I don't know of how many head coaches who are watching their players' dirty laundry every night, Dixon says in the piece, joking that his water bill back home spikes after game nights. Brownlee appears to no longer be working for the university. He's in the wind, Epstein says. As for the Sports Illustrated story, his scheduling job was being done by another person who is extensively quoted in the piece. Escalating demands. Williams says in the complaint that he received a message through social media in the fall of his freshman year from a woman who seemed interested in a romantic relationship. He was enticed into sending images of himself to the person of a sexual nature that he believed were private and in context of a developing romantic relationship, the lawsuit says. The online paramour then started blackmailing Williams, threatening to publish photos and texts unless he provided more salacious material. The text continued throughout 2018 through 2019. Throughout the 2018 and 2019 basketball season, while Williams, in fear of losing his place in the basketball program, his tuition and room and board payments, continued to respond to the person messaging him in a futile attempt to appease his tormentor. In the spring of 2019, Williams learned from Coach Brownlee, then a senior, who would return the next year as a staff member, that Brownlee had also exchanged sexual content with the plaintiff's tormentor. The blackmailer then ordered the two men to have sex with each other, according to the lawsuit. Williams refused at first, but when he returned to campus in the fall, the blackmailer demanded that Williams record and send a video of the plaintiff and Lucian Brownlee engaging in oral sex. According to the lawsuit, Williams complied. Ah. William's father gets involved. In December of 2019, the blackmailer instructed Williams that Brownlee was going to coordinate a sexual encounter with him, according to the lawsuit. Williams resisted, hoping his non response would end the blackmail. Prompting warnings, the blackmailer would wild out. Williams sent videos of himself, but the blackmailer insisted on one of himself having sex with Brownlee, sending repeated messages providing coaches Brownlee's availability. The back and forth continued throughout March of 2020, according to the suit. By information and belief, the blackmailer was Coach Brownlee, the complaint says. Unable to tell anyone what was happening and contemplating suicide, Williams told his family he was uncomfortable with the rampant drug use on the team during its frequent away games. That prompted his father to arrange a meeting with the Copen officials. The complaint says, in which Dixon indicated that he was helpless to address the drug issues in any meaningful way and was adamant that the plaintiff should stay with the program. When Williams returned to campus in the fall of 2020, the blackmail and threats continued. This time, Williams didn't respond, and that's when the material used to blackmail the plaintiff was published and revealed to be members of the team, staff, and revealed to members of the team, staff, and the public, the lawsuit says. Epstein says the material appeared on Instagram and has since been taken down. Dixon directed Williams to come to practice the next day, where the two met, and according to the complaint, Dixon admitted that Lucien Brownlee was mentally ill or otherwise emotionally imbalanced, and that history was known to the coach, athletic director, Derek Carter, and the school. But the complaint says the school, whose policy on sexual misconduct prohibits rape, sodomy, quid pro quo, stalking, sexual exploitation, coercion, and retaliation, took no action to remedy the situation. Williams asked for an investigation in which, according to the lawsuit, a lawyer for the university further traumatized him with questions about his sexual past and orientation. It's cringeworthy, the questions that he was asked, Epstein said. Copen State then terminated Williams' housing and tuition assistance. Epstein says he managed to complete the semester by working remotely, then transferred to another school to complete his degree. Copen State University has still yet to respond, and this is all the information that we have that I was able to find as of now. This is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. I apologize for some of the things that I was messing up on. You guys know that I struggle with the stutter, so there it is. But I got through it. I will say, I, for one, do not want this to play out on the Real Housewives of Potomac. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this show has gone to a dark place. And I would not put it past anybody who's, anybody. Hello, Ashley. I'm talking to you. I wouldn't put it past, someone like that to try to bring that to the show to probably get the audience from talking about her husband and his misfortunes. So I don't want that to be talked about, this to be talked about on the show. I mean, I know that it involves Juan, but this is so much deeper than I thought. I did not read the article when I, set to talk about this. So I had no idea that this was this deep. This is really upsetting. And I feel so sorry for that young man. I really, really do, because the school failed him. And this is very, not similar. It's the same exact story that young women, tell about how they have experienced sexual harassment or sexual assault, and the school has done nothing. This is now happening to a young man. He's probably not the first young man that this has happened to. He is probably one of many, the first of many who are actually speaking out about this, about sexual misconduct at the school, and how the school did absolutely nothing when it was one of their staff members who was the one sexually harassing and assaulting their student. Like, this is insane. This is insane. From what I have read, this is all alleged. If there is any proof and if there is any founding a finding that can corroborate this young man's story, he is going to win. Like, I just don't see the school not wanting to settle this, Juan not wanting to settle this, because the more information that is released, um, if they try to play ball, it'll just get ugly for Copen. It'll get uglier for Copen and Juan. Speaking of Juan and how he handled this situation, it's it's a given that Juan did not handle allegedly did not handle this situation properly. When a student reaches out to you about sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and sexual assault by your staff, one of your staff members, somebody who you put in position and seniority over that said student and over the students within that program, you are to immediately report that. You are to immediately remove that person from that position, whether it's true or not, because you need to have an investigation to find out the facts, and then a decision can be made on that staff member. But to put this person who you put in the position of authority over these students, and then when a student comes to you about a complaint, a very terrible complaint about that said person, to just say, "Oh, well, he's dealing with some mental problems, and there's not much that I can do about it." You are putting yourself, your livelihood at risk. Like, to be honest with you, I don't see the school sticking with Juan after this. I don't see it. I do not see the school sticking with Juan after this, especially since he was one of the main people named in this lawsuit. And it allegedly he did not do anything about it. The school is going to save face and get rid of you and put the blame on you and say that they were unaware and that you did not go through the proper rules and laws and of the school to handle that situation correctly. And they're going to play the game of not having any knowledge and just being really shocked, and they can't believe that you did not do your due diligence to do your job properly, and that's why they put you in that position. You're going to be the scapegoat. If the school knew, and they either have to choose between you or this stain on their name, which will affect donors, you're going to be the scapegoat, unfortunately. And unfortunately, allegedly, you did not do the right thing. You did not do the right thing. You should have reported that right away. If this is true, you should have reported that right away. You should have removed Brownlee, because this right here is absolutely terrible. And props to that young man for speaking out. I'm so glad that he has a relationship with his parents where he was able to speak to them, and the parents were able to take the next step in protecting their child. But props to that young man, and my heart just breaks for him. My heart just breaks for him. My heart breaks for every student that has experienced anything like this on campus grounds and have not been protected by those who are in the position of power over them at the school. This is very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. I will say this was filed last week, right? But a lot of this stuff took place in 2020. A lot of these the school allegedly and Juan allegedly had knowledge of these things that happened in 2018 and beyond that, had knowledge of this in 2020, right? I don't know if it could be. I don't know if this is why this wedding not happening or not happening storyline has suddenly surfaced on the Real Housewives of Potomac, why it could be linked to Juan all of a sudden wanting to get married, and then what there being issues and things stopping, because it's a great distraction from what's actually happening. Because by the time you get to a lawsuit, there has already been steps made to settle this situation. You get to suing people when the people who you feel harmed you in some way did not do their due diligence in rectifying the situation. So there has been knowledge of this situation since 2020. So if this is, true, and if this is a result of certain things, and if we see a result of certain things playing out on the Real Housewives of Potomac, it would actually make sense with this whole storyline of, not wanting to get married and wanting to sign, wanting to get a prenup, and wanting to wait to get married, and to the talk about finances. Because if the lawsuit was filed, I guarantee you, if it was filed last week, they have been going back and forth for a very long time. So it absolutely makes sense now. It did not make sense to me before why Robin and Juan were not getting married, why Robin is all of a sudden doing this prenup and not, and not acting like this is actually a horrible thing to do to this man, because you didn't have anything and you lost what he had. Right. So it's very weird to me. But if you have prior knowledge of this situation and that you are probably going to be in a civil suit, I think it's absolutely smart of that woman to not marry that man, or to, hold off on this prenup and drag this prenup out for as long as she can before this whole thing is settled. Because if this lawsuit goes the distance, and if Juan is found not reliable, if he is found responsible, if he is found to be responsible for this young man not getting the help that he needs in a civil suit, he's absolutely going to have to pay out a certain kind of coin. I know the school and Juan are going to have to pay something if this case does not go in their favor. So it absolutely makes sense to me that this girl don't want to get married. It absolutely makes sense to me that she wants them to sign some kind of prenup, because her assets are now going to come into play. The Bravo check, the successful hat business, all of this stuff will now come into play, because if you are married, what's mine is yours and what yours is mine. You become one flesh, one unit. So that is something that her monies will absolutely be something up for grab. Now, I don't believe that these two don't love each other. I don't believe that, they won't get married eventually. But I think if they drag this wedding storyline on for as long as it'll go, like if it goes a couple seasons, I think it's absolutely because they do not yet know how this civil lawsuit is going to play out. It's smart. It's smart to not join your finances with someone who, has a civil lawsuit hanging over their head, because I don't think that this is just news to them. I think that there has probably been a lot of their lawyer trying, a lot of the victim's lawyer trying to get them to the table, the school and Juan and everybody else involved within this lawsuit. And I think, if you can't mediate it and get it to a point where this is what we're going to settle on before we even, get to a court of law, this is where we're at. Now they're playing ball. And I think this young man has a strong case. I'm rooting for him. It's very sad. It's very, very unfortunate. But I think that he did a great thing by speaking out, because a lot of young men experience a lot of sexual harassment and sexual assault. And because of how society is built and the machismo that is put on men, especially Black men, they do not speak up about it. But I'm glad this young man did. And again, I'm so glad that he has a good relationship with his parents, that they were able to help him navigate this and get him, going down the right avenues to get justice. This is all alleged. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm going to start with Dr. M. Dr. M said, Miss Brown Sugar. Oh, wait, it is, but I let them know I'm going to. Oh, you talk about Black Panther. I'm sorry. Baca said, I know Robin will be defending Juan so hard in the upcoming seasons. If it makes it to the show, I'm hoping that this doesn't, because I can see, if somebody's beefing with Robin, they want to use that to hurt her. But I think the only person who will get hurt the most out of this is the young man who filed the lawsuit, the civil suit. So I'm like, we can find something else. We can find something else. This is far too deep. This is far too ugly and dark Nah, let's find something else. Is this also why we have seen so like so, but not so, but like a lot less of Juan than normal? He just be popping in and out, popping in and out. Everything makes sense now. And I hate to say that, but everything makes sense now concerning Robin and Juan. It all makes sense. Unfortunately, it all makes sense. Um hey Drea, how are you? Thank you so much, some people, for the super chat. Cha-ching. Some people said, so this is why Juan was so comfortable. Okay. Okay. Guys, come on. Thank you, some people. Thank you, some people. Or this could be why, Gollum was just like, they'll never get married. Because this has been happening. The first complaint took place in 2020. So I don't know. I do not know. Extremely sad. Extremely, extremely sad. Oh, Juan. Oh gosh, why didn't you just report it? This is the thing. Why didn't you report it allegedly? Um, this is the problem with the good old boys club, right? Because allegedly, I think if Juan didn't do anything or say anything and said, "Oh, the guy got mental problems," and tried to brush it under the rug. Um, for me, that goes back to the good old boys club, right? Where it's let's just move this to a side and not talk about it because we got games to win. That's important, the game, right? You don't want to bring this out and then it affects the team, it affects the game, and we're no longer, in the position that we were in. It has to be about the game. Let's move this, talk about this at another time. I know you're hurting, I know you're in pain, I know you have experienced great trauma, but let's put the game first. Wow. Really, really sad. And if that young man went to that school and instead of helping them, they retaliated against him and removed his funding so that he could no longer go to the school, that baby got a lawsuit on his hands. Child, if I was coping, I would just settle it. I'd be like, what is, I would go straight to the lawyer. What is he asking for? Done. Done. Because there's no way that the school is going to look good in this. Like, no way. Because now you have to explain to not just, a judge, but you also have to explain to the court of public opinion why you retaliated against that young man. Like, why did he lose his scholarship? Right? You can't say, "Oh, we revoked his scholarship because his grades, he wasn't performing well and his grades was going down." Did his grades start going down and did his performance deteriorate after he told you that he was sexually assaulted by one of your staff members? Like, you're not winning. You're not going to win in this situation. You are not going to win in this situation. Settle with that young man. Set him up. Set him up. Get him straight and get out of here. Get out of here to save face. Because if I was a donor to that university, I would be holding all of my donations until this was properly cleared up and properly handled. Joy says, as a recent graduate of an HBCU and seeing as though Copen is a Black school, Thurgood Marshall's fund school, I'm not surprised how the school neglected to take care of this situation. How sad. How sad. How sad. Joy also said they don't take Title X seriously, even though most Black schools have a higher population of women and queer students. Oh, really? Wow. So sad. Janice said, this is way worse than I thought. Same. You read that headline and you're like, what did Juan get him into? And then you read the article and you're like, oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Miss T said all this so the coach could have sexual contact with the poor student. Just out of his mind. Like how low, like how disgusting. And allegedly he did not know, the kid had nobody in his corner. Shout out to his dad. Shout out to his dad. Miss T said coach can't stop students from using drugs. Yeah, that part was a little alarming to me. I'm like, what? You're the coach. Like, I don't understand. But again, I think he was probably on, as long as we're winning and doing well, I'm not going to upset what they have going on, right? I'm going to let this slide if we're doing well. Also, trying to reach a certain goal under this low budget looks good on him, right? It looks good. It's like, oh, you're making it, you're giving us a success out of something that seems to be impossible. But what's really happening is you're not doing your job properly, and these students, these players, are overworked with no pay. So you're not doing a great job. You're just abusing the students. To be quite honest with you, you're taking advantage of them. You're taking advantage of the students. Simply Simone said he and the university covered up that sicko. Allegedly, Simply Simone. Allegedly. Drea Loving Life said, why did he put someone who was mentally unstable in a position of power? It's just like, if you knew about that guy, if like everybody knew about him, why put him over your students? Something isn't adding up. Something is not adding up. Something is not adding up. Isatasha said, oh my, how gross. I pray that the student gets the help he needs. All of the staff that participated and covered this up deserves jail time. Absolutely. But you know what's so sad? This happens all the time in universities. This happens all the time in universities. So many students who speak out about sexual harassment or sexual assault or just any traumatic thing that has happened to them on campus grounds, they are retaliated against by the school, lose their scholarship, just the campus becomes uncomfortable for them. This happens all the time. I remember years ago, it was a huge thing in Penn State where there was a young black guy who was going to the school, and he was being harassed by two white supremacists who went to the school on his floor. They would play they would play full volume a sound of dogs like rabidly barking at his door in like the middle of the night. They would write N-word and all kinds of racial slur on his walls and on his door. Sometimes they wrote it in feces. They would jump him while he slept. And he reported all of this to the school. And all Penn State did was remove him. And it was a big deal because he sued the school. I believe he won, but it was just it was so long ago. I was literally a kid. But it was just like very shocking, everything that came out and everything that the young man talked about in all of his interviews. And he was just like, all of these things happened to me, and the school did nothing because the people who were harassing him, although they were white supremacists, they were athletes. The universities protect the hell out of athletes. Those star athletes especially have so many sexual assault complaints about them at universities, but the school protects the athletes like nothing else. They protect them more than they protect the damn teachers. It happens often. But this time people are listening because Juan Dixon is involved. It's unfortunate, but it's going to work in this young man's favor that the person being sued, or one of the people being named in this lawsuit, is somebody who is popular, right? Because if it was just a regular guy, I don't know if this kid would get the support that he needs, right? Or if anybody would even take his case, to be quite honest with you. But because a celebrity is involved, or a reality TV star is involved, people are going to talk about it, right? And the court of public opinion always tips the scale in the regular in the normal court of law. Drewski said the most horrifying part about all of this is that I could see other players and students in other schools also being blackmailed in general, but similar ways. Heavenly Father, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. But this time it happened and a famous person was named in this scandal. So it's getting some weight, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that had to be the equation for this young man to get justice. Doesn't it make sense now? Because like none of this makes sense, guys. You know, I was talking about in my live, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't get this. I don't understand why you are doing this. It absolutely makes sense now. Let's not get married. Let's drag this storyline on for as long as we can until this civil suit is settled. Very smart. Very, very smart. Because all Juan has to do now is in this civil suit is just show them what he makes as a coach, right? Because because him not being married to Robin, her stuff, her finances, the things, her businesses, this Bravo check, none of that comes into play now. Very smart. Very, very smart. Yeah, I hope they don't bring it up. I hope they don't bring it up. Sly Cat said, having a mental illness does not make a person a predator, period. There they go, using mental illness as an excuse for violent behavior, not okay. And also using mental illness as an excuse for why they will not act on that person. Because we got to be honest, Black community, we do that all the time. If somebody, is acting a certain way and, they're probably well liked, let's just talk about it, Kanye West, we say, oh, something wrong with him. You know what I mean? Like, just ignore him. Something wrong. No, this person is hurting people, whether they have a mental illness or whatever. This person is hurting people. This needs to be taken care of. But we all do. Oh, he not well. No, she's not okay. It's just leave them alone. Let them go on about their business. No. They're harming people. We're not going to ignore their poor behavior because they have some sort of sickness. Let's get them the help they need. And let's make sure they stop harming people. Monique Adams said, I wonder if Giselle is going to use this scandal as a storyline at Robin's expense, like she always does with other castmates. I don't think she will. Sly Cat said, this is beyond unacceptable. If Juan didn't act, he's just as bad. And I am in no way defending Juan, but I can honestly see him doing something like this, right? Because I don't see him being mentally equipped to handle something like this. Like, no shade, but I would expect him to react that way. I just don't see him knowing how to properly handle this situation. And I think if this is true, I think this is the best that he could have done. I really, really do. I think that this was the best of what you're going to get from him, because I think that this is him at the height of his decision making. This is him saying, "Oh man, don't worry about it." Like, no, he don't even work here anymore. Let's get you back on. Let's get you back out there, and let's get you training so you could be ready for the next game. Because that's his mindset. That's the NBA. The men's bodies are beat up. They get an injury on the court, they send them back and have a doctor shoot them full of something and get them back out there. They play at any cost. So I can honestly see his mind being like, I get what this is, I get what's going on, but the game is the game. We gotta focus on this game. So how can I put out this fire so that I don't lose a player? I can honestly see him thinking like that. Simply Simone said Robin might leave the show to avoid the cast and the show wanting to make this a storyline. I don't think she would, because I have to be honest with you. I think this is her biggest check. And if Juan is possibly going to be without a job, I don't see her leaving. And I do see the show protecting her. Not the show, but the cast. I do see the castmates protecting her, especially Robin. I see her shutting that down at every avenue. I am Rachel said, this is bigger than Juan Dixon. Absolutely. I work in higher learning in the higher learning space, and it's notoriously hierarchy, child, hierarchical, hierarchical, right? Hierarchical. And it's possible that the management controlled everything. Quite possible. Quite possible. I think it goes all the way to the top because there's no way this school did not know about this. There's no way because then you have the school immediately responding to this young man in a negative way, right? As a way to silence him, allegedly, as a way for this to all die down because they don't want this backlash. We got it anyway. We got it anyway. Absolutely. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be scapegoats for this, and Juan Dixon is going to be one of them. He's absolutely going to be one of them because this will shake donors. This will absolutely shake donors. I am Rachel said, talk about Juan. He probably complained, but his higher ups wouldn't if it's going to potentially cause scandal. Very true. They will suppress the story. It's really sad, but I think it's a higher management issue. I believe that. Miss Brown Sugar said, yes, I'm so glad that the student could go to his parents and count on their support. Yep. The parents are a huge factor here. Asadu A said, then why wasn't the student, if he complained, then why wasn't the student aware then? He played the a murder? What's that? What's that? Some people said if Michael found out, he wouldn't hesitate to use it. I don't mean to be messy. You think so? Well, I don't see him being on this show anymore. Miss GG88 said, wow, that's disgusting. It does sound bigger than Juan, but he had a choice to make and he made it, allegedly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. I am Rachel said, I bet you Juan doesn't have the authority, especially at the university level, to remove this guy. University administration is notorious for suppressing victims to protect their reputation. Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, those student athletes are allowed to do whatever they want, and the university will always use donors' money to cover up whatever these athletes do. Because, to be quite honest with you, sports is big business at universities. Big business. Big business. Sly Cat said, I haven't been watching this season, but I hope that they didn't get married already. What if it happened to one of his boys? I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Not while a civil lawsuit is pending against Juan. I don't think they will. And I absolutely believe that Robin's lawyers and financial advisor, advised her in which way to go about this. I do not see them saying you need to marry this man while he has a civil lawsuit looming over his head, because this lawsuit could absolutely be in the millions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I would have settled. I would have settled with this young man. I would have settled. It's unfortunate, especially within 2020, how the world was starting to change. I would have settled. Hey, Andrella, cha-ching, thank you for the super chat. Andrella said, sounds like what happened to Representative Jim Jordan and the doctor at OSU. What the hell happened with that? What the hell happened with that? Yeah. Yep. 6 former wrestlers say that Representative Jim Jordan knew about abusive OSU doctor. It's sickening how often this happens. So sickening. Dahlia said, as someone who works in insurance dealing with attorneys all day long. They absolutely were going back and forth with the attorney prior to filing. I absolutely believe that. Normally, they file suit to push a settlement. Yep. Yep. And they had 2 years, 2 years to get this taken care of. I think she said that her hat business was successful, Asatu, because she couldn't break the fourth wall and talk about her Bravo check. I think that is their main and biggest income. And legally, it's a smart legal move to not get married or link her finances with Juan right now. Daphne said they will never get married if this didn't happen. Juan would have waited till the boys went to college. You sound like my mom. That's exactly what my mom thinks. I am Rachel said Juan won't say anything. He can't. I do think we're going to get some kind of PR message from him. I do think, a publicist is either going to share a statement or they're going to, him and Robin are probably going to write something on Instagram. But it's absolutely going to be a PR statement as soon as the story gets legs. The university won't let him, I'm sure. Bet my last dollar that the university's fixers and PR team are working overtime. Absolutely. Because they gotta save those donors. They have to save those donors. Dahlia said, if the suit gets to discovery phase, Juan and Robin will have to share their personal assets, including any insurance policy limits. That sucks. Hopefully they settle soon. Well, they could have. That's the thing. They could have. They now, like, I think it's just so smart, so not smart, especially with Robin's behavior, especially with how Juan has not been the most beloved, house husband on this show. I think it's just not a smart move to allow this case to get to the court of public opinion. The public is not going to be on your side. The public is not going to be on his side. Joy Courtney said he really is going to be seen liable, being as though he said himself that he alleged the perpetrator has a history of mental illness. Yeah. I mean, that has to be founded, right? But I mean, if there's emails and text messages and letters, that boy got a case. I don't see this because I looked up his lawyer. His lawyer is a bad dude, right? Like, if he takes a case, he's winning. He's winning. So I don't see this lawyer taking the case and not having substantial evidence. I am Rachel said, bravo to the young man's parents for helping him through this. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Dope since 1986 said he probably won't be on the actual episodes, but that's shady, and he will probably ask you. Yeah, he will probably ask about it at the reunion. He absolutely has to ask about it at the reunion. There's no way Andy can't ask about that. And both Robin and Juan's response will be, well, we're still in court. We're still going, we're about to go to court. And right now the case is pending. We can't speak about it. Drewski said it puts Andy shading Robin on Watch What Happens Live into a new light. Do you think her spot could be in jeopardy, especially since they already have Michael to deal with? Absolutely not. I will say it's very weird that this show deals there's a sexual assault demon over the Real Housewives of Potomac, a principality even. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. But I don't think this will affect her spot. If anything, you have to understand, Bravo is about making money. Bravo's a business. So they're absolutely going to keep somebody on the show who has a huge scandal looming over their head. Missy said, do I have it correct? A student was engaging in an online relationship, sending sexual pics and videos, threatened, come to find out the online person was a coach/student. Yes, you are correct. The young man, the victim, thought that he was engaging in a relationship with a young woman. Come to find out, it was found later that a former student who was hired by the school and put in a position of seniority over the athletes was the one who was impersonating this woman. It seemed as if he used the catfish to get sexual videos and content, and to get this, and to manipulate this young man into having some kind of sexual intercourse with him. Sick. Sick. Dr. M said, Nikki, you are right. This explains the whole prenuptial situation and why we aren't having a wedding this season. It makes sense to me now. It makes sense to me now. By the way, said it all makes sense. It all makes sense is right. The way Robin's been moving makes her a snake, sneak, liar, raging on Wendy like that, shaking my head. Well, listen, if she's going through at home, you know what I mean? Um, I can absolutely understand why she's going off at work because Robin is extra nasty this season, and she was extra nasty last season. Remember when Wendy was like when her and Wendy and what's her name, Wendy and Giselle. Remember they were going back and forth, and then Robin jumped in, and Wendy was like, "Robin, don't jump into this," and Robin like lost it on Wendy to the point where even Giselle was like, she lost it on Wendy and was telling her to suck her, suck her D. Do y'all remember that scene? She was going crazy and everybody was like, Rob, what's going on? So her behavior, the increased nastiness, the increased aggression. I mean, one could assume that it's because she's dealing with a lot at home right now. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. Tracy said, what if the boy only told Juan about the drug use like he told his dad in the beginning? That might be why Juan brushed it off at first. I'm trying, but I don't think he just told Juan about the drug use. I also think that he told Juan about the young man because Juan's allegedly his response was the dude, something wrong with the dude. He's not well, he got a mental illness. He crazy. Basically, I think that's probably what he said. No, don't forget about him. That dude is crazy. He ain't coming back. You don't got to worry about him. You good. You safe here. You can play because he's not going to be on the team or around the students anymore. He out of here. He's out of here. I am Rachel said, I think the university athletic board told Juan's boss to tell Juan to handle this issue. Yep. Make it go away. I absolutely believe that was probably the language. Make that go away. And if you don't, your job is on the line. That happens all the time. And I guess Juan called up that young man and was trying to manage him. Yep. Trying to make it go away by saying that the assistant coach is ill. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, allegedly, Juan didn't make the best decisions. And I think he's going to be a scapegoat. Dahlia said, let's be real. A lot of schools sweep sexual assault cases under the rug because it happens often, because they don't want it affecting enrollment or donors. If parents know how often this stuff happens, they would never send Susie and Johnny to school. Yep. And one of the clear signs of sexual assault at a university is a student's instant decline in performance and getting out of bed. Like if a student instantly changes, guarantee you it was a sexual assault. I saw it happen. I was just like, there was somebody who I knew and they were sexually assaulted. And like, I'm telling you, night and day, she became an entirely different person. Later, after she left the school, we found out what happened and it clicked. Because I was just like, like, she was just different. Wouldn't come to school, started, dropping out of classes, would not get out of bed. When everybody would see her, she would look a mess. And come to find out, she was dressing a certain way and not bathing because she felt like she attracted men who would harm her because of how she dressed or presented herself. It heartbreaking, but it happens often. It happens often. You can see in the clear signs is the students change behavior because it's immediate. It's immediate. Peyton said, I'm late, but hey, Nikki, hey, Star fam. The whole situation is sad. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It really, really is. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Hold on. Absolutely heartbreaking. I'm at my highest. Sly Cat said, for this elaborate scheme, the thought process was oriented and goal directed. He can forget pleading insanity if he's criminally charged. Yeah. I mean, they have to find him at this point. Yes. Yes, Dahlia. Absolutely. A promising young woman touched on this topic. Great movie. Yes. Yes. Janita said they're going to drag Juan as he's Michael Darby. I'm sure he ignored the boys as always, and then the school destroyed the boy. If it were a girl, maybe he would have acted differently. No, I think he would have acted worse. I think he would have acted worse. I think because it then would have been because this is what happened to the young man, right? That when this does happen to a young woman, it's always, well, did maybe he think that you were attracted to him, right? So the how you switch the language up when you're talking to a young man, you say, well, did you enjoy when he was doing these things to you? Are you gay? Like, were you leading him on? That's when in the article the young man's lawyer says that they were asking him these very uncomfortable and degrading questions because they were asking him questions in a way that they ask young women or women in general when they're sexually assaulted, making you out to be the one who brought upon this sexual assault because of your sexual orientation or how you appear or don't reject certain advances. So, oh, that poor baby. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. It's Ray Ray said, hi, Nikki. Oh, man, I haven't caught a live in months. Life got crazy. What a live to catch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They'll go back to being lighter. I promise. I promise. I am Rachel said, and us administrative are penalized for doing the right thing sometimes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't want to upset, a system that has already been built. You don't want anybody who's going to upset that because that means change just means that you're going to probably lose certain donors. That's what this is all about. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it all goes back to money. It all goes back to money. That's why Juan was running a very tight ship with those students because he needed to produce results to keep his job, and the school needed that team to produce results to entice donors. Miss Brown Sugar said people take sexual assault of men even less seriously than they do for women, and that's already a low bar. Yep. Absolutely. Students are not protected in any way. In any way. Yes. By politicians and wealthy people. Just it's a scary place to be. Miss Brown Chicken said, OMG, Nikki, I thought you were going to the Joe Paterno that's another one that happened at Penn State. My God, today that was a lot more current than the story that I was talking about. But yeah, yep. They said that Joe Paterno knew. Joe Paterno was just like, I did not know anything about this, and then he just gave up the ghost. Joe Paterno was like, I'm not going to be involved in this. I'm gonna take my behind to glory because he covered up a one of his coaches that was sexually assaulting his students. It's so sad. It's so sad. Simply Simone said it does happen far too often. My freshman year of college, there was sexual assault that happened in Greek Village, and the school sending a mass email to students and kept it quiet from the media. Yep. IA said, I just catching the live. Did the student end up sleeping with the teacher? No, but he was blackmailed into performing sexual acts. Or did he get away? The accused cannot be found. Yeah, it's an awful story. Awful story. Let me get a couple more and then I'll let you guys go. Tracy said, thank you so much for the super chat. Tracy said, I need to know if Juan went to his boss and they said, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Just ignore it. And like a fool, he did. I want them to go up the chain. I will say for Juan, if I was your lawyer, I would tell you to get ahead of it. Because I just don't see the school not sacrificing you so that they could look good. So if I were you, I would get ahead of it. I would be like, I did report it. The school told me to do this. And I was under contract with them. I had to do what was told. Now, morally, I should have made a different decision, but I did what my employer instructed me to do. If I were you, I would get ahead of it. Thank you so much for the super chat, Tracy. Thank you. KRH said, Bravo does not care about problematic characters. They do not care about morals. Do you think that they did not know about Bill Cosby? What does Bill Cosby have to do with Bravo? Oh, are you saying, do you think that, the industry didn't? Yeah. Yeah. Like, let's be honest. Back in the day, Bill Cosby and Hugh Hefner were running a whole little scam and scheme to get women to sleep with them. I remember I was watching Wendy Williams, and one of Hugh Hefner's wives at the time, I think her name was Holly. She said that Hugh Hefner tried to give her Quaaludes, and she was just like, she didn't know that that's what it was, but he told her it was called thigh openers. Child, that's another little pervert that decided to die before. I'm sorry, this is not funny. I had just thought about the tweet that said, as soon as Hugh Hefner died, it just seems like when he died, the gates of hell open and all of, the predators in Hollywood just start being exposed. But that's another one, just like Joe Paterno, who was just like, let me die so that I won't be held accountable for no mess. Because Hugh Hefner was about to get it. He was about to get it. He was going to be Harvey Weinstein before we even got to Harvey Weinstein. Ciao. Jen said the school knew, just like those colleges knew about Larry Nassar, I think, and ignored it and covered him for decades. Yes, they are always covered up. I don't think so, Asatu. I do not think they're going to talk about it. Oh, I do think that Andy is going to speak about it, but I think that the cast is going to protect Robin. I think the cast is going to protect Robin, and Wendy and Candace cannot say anything about it because they just won't look good in this situation. Thank you. Omerta is Italian for Code of Silence Corps by the Italian Mafia. Oh, wow. Look at what y'all teaching me here. Thank you, Dahlia. Fatima, cha-ching. Thank you for the super chat. Fatima said, Nikki, you are so right. I thought the same way. I don't think Juan is not smart enough to handle it. He probably shut it down like he shuts down Robin when he doesn't want to deal with something. Ciao. Thank you for the super chat. Ima said, y'all, we are talking about a teenager, young adult. This started when he was 17 or 18. Some of y'all putting too much on a child and not enough on the adults. Be better. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Oh no, please come back for some lighter content. Thank you, Universal Tea with Marie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Hey, is this Sade? Hey, Sade. Sade said, I'm late, but it's ironic this is happening in Robert's life while her friend is over there lying about another man's wife. Oh, Lord. Hey, make it make sense. Thank you so much for the super chat. Make it make sense said the only lawyer Warren can afford is Tom. Speaking of Tom Girardi or whatever, what the CEO of his company just got hemmed up for wire fraud. What the hell is going on over there? Like, all they do is scam. All they do is scam. It is a sexual assault principality over the Real Housewives of Potomac. Katie, don't go back to that show just yet. Don't go back to that show just yet. They need to be saved or a deliverance service. It's something going on around that cast. Leology said it does help. It does help that it's an HBCU. The gatekeeping of trying to keep this school's image perfect is a whole new level. Yeah. Did I get them? Let me know. Let me know if I missed any super chats. I thought I got them all. I thought I got them all. Let me tell you something. He was going to be the first one. He was going to be the first one. And all of them used to hang out at that Playboy mansion. All of them used to hang out there. because I have to stop telling, my business or my community's business. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, because people, my friends will be watching and be like, Nikki, I'm sorry, I ain't giving no names, but I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, who know Harriet Tubman, and this is about her cousin. So her cousin went to the Playboy Mansion and was just like, it is not what Hollywood would make you think it is. Like, they went thinking it was going to be like, just an event of like Hollywood people, just rubbing, not rubbing, but like a networking event, right? Where it's just a who's who, and it'll just be women dressed up in bunny costumes, serving drinks. They were like, it was a whole orgy. They were like, it was a whole orgy of like A-listers. But like, it was so normal. It was so normal to just like be hanging out, and then right next to you, somebody's having sex. But it was just so normal there. But when you see things that have happened at the Playboy Mansion, they just make it look like it's a cocktail party. It's a cocktail party, all right, girl. The stories that could come out of that. But I think that too many people will be exposed. So I don't think anybody is ever going to write anything about the Playboy Mansion. But and my friend was like, that, well, not my friend, but the friend of the friend of the friend of the friend who knew Harriet Tubman, who was talking about her cousin, was just like, that's what I get for trying to like network in Hollywood. Oh, Lord. Dolly said, none of the Hefter stuff surprises me. He made his money off the backs of porn. Are there angelic people in the industry? The answer is no. Yikes. Everybody's starting to find out now when people are saying who to vote for mayor. These celebrities can never be trusted. These celebrities could never be trusted. Ryan Rain said they have a podcast now, Girls Next Level, Bridget and Holly. They do. They talked about how the show manipulated them. Wow. Wow. I went to bed at 5 a.m. I'm all caught up, and we will talk about it. We will talk about it. Yeah, but I be getting in trouble. y'all know I've been mom lately. I be getting in trouble. I be getting in trouble. IA said this case is more serious than Michael's antics. Bravo shouldn't touch this subject because they wouldn't handle it with the care it deserves. I agree. I agree. Sly Cat said, I saw articles for the story everywhere and didn't read any of them. I saw the notice for your live, and I'm glad I found out from you, Nikki. You are always so understanding to the victims. Thank you so much, Sly Cat. Like, seriously, to be honest with you, I thought that this was going to be about something else. I did not read the article until after I saw Kempire's live, but I had already created this live. So I was kind of in a situation. And I was like, yikes. But this is a show that I review. This is concerning characters on the show that I talk about. So, it kind of would be ridiculous to not, speak about this. If I'm talking about everything else, let's absolutely dig into this. Somebody said something here. I'm not touching it. The only thing I will say, you on it. You on it. You are on it. Because, girl. Deja Monet said, my heart breaks for this young man. However, this doesn't excuse Robin's behavior. The Dixons need to step away from the show at this point. I don't think they will, Deja. I don't think they will. I do not think they will. Because you gonna need this money. You gonna need this money, because if Juan, is, found liable in this lawsuit, they're going to come after everything. Because I don't see this lawsuit not being in the millions. I don't see them settling for $50K. This is a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, and if he is found liable, he's going to be dead broke, and they're going to need her money to make it. And I don't see her leaving the show. I do not see her leaving. Oh, the tea with NikkiStar TV. No, I'm gonna get in trouble. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. But somebody in the comments is on it. I was like, child, you was at that party too. Asatu said, Bravo will do it for the ratings. I'm sure they will touch on it. I don't think the cast will bring it except football head Darby. Yeah, if anybody will bring this bone to the show, it will absolutely be Ashley. And I don't know if that'll be smart for her to do. I don't know if that will be smart for her to do. I just don't see this working in her favor. I really, really don't. I don't see her lack of melanin working for her on this one. I really, really don't. Anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about concerning this situation. It's unfortunate. It really, really is. As of right now, it's all alleged. It's all alleged. Sending love and prayer to that young man. What he did was very brave to speak out about what has happened to him or his experience, because this does happen to a lot of men and women, and they don't, especially young men and women, and they don't come forward because they've been retaliated against, and because the court of public opinion is normal. It normally shames them for being victims. So shout out to that young man. I pray that this is all taken care of swiftly. Listen, Juan, this is just not something you want to have out there for very long. If I were you, I would get ahead of it, and I would, meet them at the table with the settlement. To hell with the school. They are going to use you as a scapegoat. To hell with that school. Get ahead of it, protect your image, and protect your finances. I would even go so far as to testify on that young man's behalf. If I were you, I would get ahead of it. In the court, in the normal courts, in the regular courts, in the court of public opinion, I would get ahead of it. I would get ahead of it. That's the best advice that I can give you. Let me get out of here. I love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, Star Family. I'm doing another live, and it's going to be the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. I'm probably going to change that to tomorrow because I watched all the episodes and I want to talk about it now. Today, I have 2 recorded reviews that I want to put up for you guys. That'll be probably in the later afternoon and late evening. And then I'll probably just do the reunion tomorrow because I got to talk about that. Girl, but I love y'all. Thank you so much for stopping by again, Star Family. Let's send our love and support to that young man, and I'll see you soon for something else. Love y'all. Bye. Oh, this was happy.